Sid Steele now arriving at the post, still to be remounted. Land League at 5-1 with blue and yellow, also 5, 6-1 Snowy Oscar. Third here over hurdles on his recent return in form yard of Nick Gifford. 8-1 Master Vintage, 17-2 Disco de Plage, 9s From the Heart, 12s Pump Fiction, 14s Witch's Glen, Sid Steele, and 18s Bar. Sid Steele remounted. Still waiting for Sid Steele to go and join the main group. Starter on his rostrum. He did do, didn't he, our best turned out winner, also having to be led in. So they're the two who are not with the main group at present. Led round by Mountain Ranger, Minella Style and Land League. And he did do, didn't he, he's also being rather awkward at the start. And Sid Steele's been dismounted once again. Connor Brace. He did do, didn't he, join the others. Sid Steele's been remounted. So runners turning, coming forward, starters raise the flag. Sid Steele's behind the others at present. He's walking in though. Sid Steele coming forward, and they're off. And they're away and racing towards the first of their 16 fences, led towards the first by Packy's Dream, and also Master Vintage there in the thick of the action with Witch's Glen, another one who's racing prominently with Land League as they come towards their first fence. Leaders streaming over it safely. Sid Steele was the last to rise. Bad mistake by Snowy Oscar towards the rear as they go on towards the water for the first time. Taken along by Master Vintage from Witch's Glen, within third place Land League, the white sleeves and white cap, then the cheek pieces of Packy's Dream. Blue and pink colours for blue and yellow, who's back in 5th, and then follows Mountain Ranger, who's in 6th place, ahead of Minello Style as they cross the next over on the far side, and they're taken along by the Market Raisin Score and Master Vintage. They've all jumped fence number 2 and 3 safely as they go on towards the open ditch. Master Vintage leads over it from Witch's Glen, a clear second. Land League takes it back in 3rd place as they take that fence, and Sid Steele blundered very badly at the back of the field. The rider did well to recover. Master Vintage setting a good pace to Witch's Glen, Land League, and then follows Packy's Dream from blue and yellow. That's the front group as they head towards the end of the back straight. Mountain Ranger just behind that leading bunch as they take the right-hander, and then racing towards the inside is Pulp Fiction, and From the Heart is close up behind them as they make their swing at the far end of the course. Master Vintage has opened up a 12-length lead over Witch's Glen, Land League, and the white-faced blue and yellow, and then in the yellow and blue colours Mountain Ranger from Packy's Dream. Sanford Castle racing wide of Pulp Fiction, From the Heart. Mid-division he did do, didn't he? One of the greys. The other grey, Westerner Ocean, is further back. Minella Stars lost a good early place and is now back in the midfield as they straighten up and head on towards their next. Disco de Plage, another one in mid-division as they take the first of the fences in the straight, and it is still Master Vintage with a long lead, 15 lengths ahead of Witch's Glen, who heads the chasing pack as they clear that plain fence, the first in the straight. Heading on towards the next, and already over it's Master Vintage by a commanding lead at this stage, some 15 to 20 lengths clear of Witch's Glen, who's crossed it in 2nd place, with back in 3rd Land League. 4th is Packy's Dream. 5th spot then held by blue and yellow from Mountain Ranger as the leader comes towards the ditch in front of the stands. Master Vintage and Daniel Hiskett sails over the ditch. best part of 20 lengths clear, from which is Glen, the nearest pursuer. She's followed back in third by Land League, and then Mountain Ranger from Packy's Dream and Blue and Yellow, and then follows From the Heart and Sanford Castle, who's racing wide of Pulp Fiction. He did do, didn't he? Disco de Plage. Snowy Oscar trying to recover from that early mistake, and then follows Pardon Me as they take the plain fence before they head out towards the far side of the course. Westerner Ocean was the last to take it. Sid Steele, despite a bad blunder, is right at the back of the field with Manila Style as they swing away right-handed towards the far side of the course and head on towards their next, and this one will be 7 from home, and Master Vintage maintaining this very long lead from Witch's Glen as they come towards the first down the back, and Master Vintage over it safely, 15 lengths clear at least from in second place Witch's Glen as they cross the first over on the far side of the track. The leader already takes the water, 20 lengths clear from in second place Witch's Glen, and then Land League, and followed by Packy's Dream, and then comes Mountain Ranger as they take the next, who's followed then by Pulp Fiction, and then From the Heart and Disco de Plage at the next over on the far side, another plain fence, and Master Vintage 20-25 lengths clear from in second place Witch's Glen as they take the next over on the far side. Land League crossed it in third spot, and then comes Packy's Dream as the leader crosses the open ditch safely and heads towards the end of the back. One more to take on the far side. Witch's Glen just jumping it now from Land League and Packy's Dream, and then follows Pulp Fiction now racing towards the last on the far side, and Master Vintage up and over in good style, still 20 lengths clear of Witch's Glen, Land League, and then Packy's Dream and Pulp Fiction and From the Heart and Disco de Plage, who's then being followed by From the Heart, who's trying to improve, and then Mountain Ranger, who's dropping back, and then Blue and Yellow in a big gap, then back to Sanford Castle, followed by Western Ocean and Pardon Me, and then further back to a Did Do Didn't He Manila Style in the back marker Snowy Oscar, but already on the turn towards the home straight. It is Master Vintage who's sailed along in front. He's gone 20-25 lengths clear from Land League. Will take the turn in second. Witch's Glen has dropped out of the leading group as they make the run towards home. Going into third is From the Heart, and then Disco de Plage, who stayed on with Packy's Dream. Then the retreating Witch's Glen from staying on from an unpromising position, Blue and Yellow, as they head towards 2 from home. And Master Vintage hasn't seen another rival. He's up and over the second last safely. Still a good 12 to 15 lengths clear. From the Heart has stayed on to join Land League for second and third, and then Packy's Dream and Disco de Plage coming towards the final fence. Master Vintage up and over safely, still the best part of 12 lengths clear from in second place From the Heart. Land League's third, and then back in fourth place is Packy's Dream, and seating right at the last Disco de Plage. Blue and Yellow is next, but racing into the closing stages. What a performance from the front from Master Vintage to follow up that market raise and win. An aggressive ride from Daniel Hiskett, and Master Vintage won unchallenged, win by best part of 8 or 10 lengths from the Heart in second place. Land League was third, and Packy's Dream fourth.
The result to our second race is first, number 2, Master Vintage. Second, number 9. Third, number 3. Fourth, number 6. And the fifth placed horse, number 15. The full result to the Integral UK Novices Handicap Steeplechase. First, number 2, Master Vintage. Second, number 9, From the Heart. Third, number 3, Land League. Fourth, number 6, Packy's Dream. And the fifth placed horse, number 15, Westerner Ocean. The distances were 13 lengths and 7 lengths, 13 lengths and 7 lengths.